What is poppin', fight fans, and welcome to another edition of the Mystic Hour Live with me, Darnell Giovanni, Mystic Black. We got a very special guest I want to welcome to the show for the first time today, and hopefully not the last time. He has a record of 28-7. He's tied for the most flyweight victories in UFC flyweight division with Demetrius Johnson, most KOs in UFC flyweight history, and 4 performance of the night bonuses. Some call him Joe Jitsu, some call him Joe B1 Kenobi, couple different nicknames, but to everybody, we know him as Mr. Joeseph Benavidez. Welcome to the show, Joe.
How are you, man? Appreciate you having me on. Excited. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. It is a pleasure and an honor.
That intro had me floating though.
You gotta bring the energy. You gotta bring the energy, the clothes, nice, I gotta be dapper like the dapper scrapper as yourself.
You look great. I already, pre-game, I was already complimenting the bolo and the kimono, which I was like, I actually got to throw that combo. I have the bolo and a denim kimono. I'm like, I'm gonna steal this combo, dude, next time out. So
I got the inspiration.
You might see it on Dapper Scrappers.
Hey, I can't wait. You got a fight coming up. UFC 259. How's the camp been so far? Are you spending time mostly in Vegas or are you bouncing still in between?
Yeah, no, I'm in Vegas. I mean, I've been in Vegas pretty solid for, 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's been great. Got a good thing going here. Home base for sure. Obviously a great place to live, great place to train. The resources are incredible. The partners, the UFC PI has been a huge help. So I spent a lot of time there. I actually just came back from there as well to work conditioning there. So that's been a huge benefit, and it opened up I think 3 years ago when I tore my ACL. So I've been like the mainstay in there ever since. I'm pretty much the mayor of that place, dude. It's insane. Greeting everybody, welcoming, all the new people, making sure they have a good time. And then I do the bulk of my MMA training at Extreme Couture. So yeah, it's been good in Vegas, and camp's camp, concentrate on the opponent, always training, get down to the weight and have a date. It's another day at the office.
Yeah, and recently your wife Megan got diagnosed with COVID.
Yes.
Did you get COVID as well during that time?
I had COVID about a month before.
Okay.
So I got COVID while she was in Fight Island. I don't know, the second, third, fourth, fifth time. I don't know. She's always there. So I got it then, and then she came home just like, I might as well get it. I'm going to be off for, 2 weeks or whatever. Like, I'll go home. Don't worry. Like, I was only sick for like 3 days, so it wasn't too bad. And then she came home. We made out, everything, and she didn't get it ever. And then a few weeks ago, she got sick, and she tested negative and worked. And she's like, oh, my God, I felt like crap all night. But like, I'm testing negative, so whatever. Then time goes on. She has no symptoms. Right before she leaves to the big one, Fight Island, Connor, these amazing fights that just happened, she tests positive with no symptoms. So it's kind of a weird thing. She tested negative within 6 days of that, but the charges had already left, and she missed out, which was terrible. She loves working. I'm sure everyone missed her at the pay-per-view. Selfishly, obviously, I want her to work, and I'm always proud of her. But selfishly, I was like, we never get to watch pay-per-views together. I'm like filming you on TV. You know what I mean? Megan O'Leary watch party, I call it. And I was like, it was kind of cool just watching like an actual pay-per-view with you, because the pay-per-view, she's worked every one for years. So we sat here and, got to watch those fights and, made the best of it. And we were just blessed that we didn't get too sick and that we had our health through the COVID.
Yeah, glad you guys got to watch that together. And of course, that's good spending that time. Unfortunate circumstances, but glad you both are okay.
Yeah, there's always positives, out of everything.
You got to find it, especially in these weird times.
Yes.
We haven't talked to you since recent defeats to Davison Figueiredo, but what are some things you do to, get yourself past that loss? Because you've suffered a defeat before, but then you'll go on streaks and win 4 or 5.
Yeah. 4, 5,
7,
10, 3, yeah, always, coming back stronger. That's life. That's my career, persevering. It's actually one of the things I'm most proud of in my career. It's not like a necessary fight or anything. It's kind of the journey of just like the longevity and the persevering and the process, kind of like not the notes, but like the music between the notes
Yeah.
has been like, man, this long journey is what's been cool and persevering. And there was times when it was like, damn, I'm never gonna like hurt this much or feel this much again. And then it's like all of a sudden, you're back, and it's just life, and I take that through so many things in life. So with this one, it's different. It's different because it's I mean, I think it's the last of that type of disappointment. You know what I mean? Like there's disappointment with every loss, and even not fighting good, you have disappointment. But I'm getting to the point in my career where it's like, I don't have another 9 out of 10 fight run in me, to get in there. So, but also it's acceptance and knowing that, you're proud of everything you've done, and no, you never took shortcuts to do anything that you did, and just it just comes down to acceptance and being happy once again with what you have outside. And I've slowly realized, even as I've got older, that fighting is my job and it's everything when I was young. And then it started fading to, oh, it's my job, but like there's more life and more living. It's not the most important thing. So I've just established also, you know, that I'm happy with some of the things that are most important um, in my life. And, you know, it's all about acceptance in anything. And that's kind of what it's been for this fight, because it's done, you know, as far as that, I think, dream of the title goes. So it's like, yeah, that was the last one, but it's like I've been there before. And did it hurt more than the first one or the last one? No, it didn't really hurt more. I've been there before, but it's like I've done a um I've tried hard to establish myself and my happiness and my value, to myself and the people around me outside of the sport, where it's like, all right, that doesn't define me. I had a great time. So it's a little different now moving forward, because it's like the the title's always been on the horizon, and now it's like, oh, this is like probably the first fight where I honestly don't even think of the title in the future at all. So yeah, I mean, there's not really much to say. It was another loss, and it was like a devastating one. But I've been there before, and whether you win or lose, it's kind of like life goes on.
Yeah, and I always looked at that, you bouncing back from fights and going on the streets, and your outlook on life is just really amazing to hear. And you're there post fight speaking about it, your feelings, and you're very
Yeah.
transparent about everything. Did
Yeah,
you
and like
ever? Yeah,
sorry, and like for this one, it's like bounce back, and the perseverance and the attitude is there. So it's like I might not necessarily be able to bounce back fight wise, and
yeah,
like, oh, I'm gonna bounce back fight wise, and you're gonna see me like win 9 out of 10. But like my attitude and my
yeah.
soul and my heart and everything is gonna bounce back the same whether I'm fighting or not. So that's what's important.
Exactly. And I was going to ask, you ever think of maybe sports psychology post UFC career?
No, I don't think so. I think that would be pretty hard, because I always I never really use a sports psychologist either, but it's just I think it would be really hard. I mean, I feel with athletics, everyone is so different. Like even though I'm a veteran of some things, like I try not to preach or tell someone they're doing something wrong. It's just like, this is the way I cut weight, or this is what I believe, this is what you believe, this is the coach I like, this is the coach you like. But at the end of the day, it's like you're the one fighting. Like everything is such an individual sport. So I don't know if I'd be comfortable in that role telling people like, you have to think this, or like this is the best way. If people ask me, I love giving my best thing, and I'm like, look, this isn't a sure thing, this is just kind of what I think. But yeah, it would be cool. So I try that, as much as I can in the gym with young guys asking me. you know I give them the best little, sports psychology shrink talk I can veteran kind of talk I can give. But I think that's about as far as it's going to go.
We always appreciate your feedback. You always give it anytime anybody asks you a question. I always see on your Instagram, no matter what, you respond to them. But let's get into this fight a little bit. We got Askarov. He's undefeated. Do you
Yeah.
feel any pressure maybe stopping that streak?
No, not necessarily the undefeated streak. I actually kind of, every time, this is probably, a few interviews in now since it's
Yeah.
getting closer, and they say undefeated. I'm like, oh, I haven't even really been thinking of that as a thing. Like, I know he's undefeated, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah, when someone asks me, I'm like, oh, yeah, he's 12-0-1. He's undefeated. So, but no, I don't really think of that. I mean, I think the main thing for this fight is just fighting someone at the top. Still, that he's the highest ranked guy that isn't booked up, and that I can go in and still prove that I'm at the top, because that's why I fight. I never want to take easy fights my whole career. You know what I mean? I'd fight anyone at any time, um, ranked below me, so they have a chance of coming up the tough fights. And it's like after my last fight, it's like, all right, well, I might not get another title shot, but the only reason I fight is to fight the best guys in the world, and to have fun. And it's like, who's the best guy that I can fight right now off a loss that's at the top? And it was Askarov, and that's why I want to do it. So
Yeah. Joe,
yeah, it's
Joe,
just
if you can just take your hand off under the phone.
oh
There we
yeah,
go. Perfect. Perfect. You're
yeah.
all
So
good.
it's just about beating, still competing at the top, and he was the closest guy to the top that I could compete with.
Yeah, and Brandon Moreno and Davidson fought last year. They're going to fight again in a rematch. Do you
Yeah.
think it's going to go the same way the second time they fight?
I'm not sure.
Not the same way, not a draw, but maybe one of them will have an advantage over the other.
Yeah, I honestly, I'm not really sure. I was actually just training with Brandon yesterday.
Yeah.
Full out. It was a great time. We're good friends, obviously, from the Ultimate Fighter. We've done multiple camps together as well. I'd have to watch that fight to give you an intelligent take on it and how the next one's going to go, since I didn't watch it. So I heard, obviously, it was one of the best fights of the year, and I saw some things that were done, heard some things that were done, but I think Brandon's only getting better, and I don't know if Figueiredo, he felt pretty happy even with it being a draw, where Brandon is still hungry and is getting hungrier. So I mean, I think he improves from that mark. On the technical aspect, like I said, I didn't watch it, so I can't really comment intelligently on the technical aspect of it.
So if we go a little further back in your career, and this is I wanted to talk about this big time.
Okay.
When you started at WEC, fashion wasn't a big thing. You had the shirts with all the tap out logos, all the different sponsors and things. Affliction, and
I've
then
been there, no fear.
no fear, and then you would have, of course, your little Scully on and things like that. But now UFC is different, the Reebok sponsor, but you can still wear things outside of that. What made you want to start Dapper Scrappers, and what made you get into fashion?
Shoot, man, that's a great question. As far as fashion, I've just always had an interest in really just self-expression of any sort, which, like, I have, paintings behind me. I love music. I love freaking interior design. I go nuts over. A huge movie fanatic, which if you see,
We'll get into that. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like I know a little bit about everything, and fashion is one of those things creatively that piques my interest. And style is style, and I think that is what it all comes down to. Style is self-expression, is a form of self-expression. So I feel like I've always had style. I even remember in high school, I couldn't afford anything, but I would just want to wear some wacky shit, like if it was from the Goodwill or whatever. And my friends always be speaking, I don't know how you wear that stuff, but I just liked it because I felt like, I don't know, it's conversation, it's vocal, it's language without having to, hey, this is whatever. And it's always just been a thing for me. So it was mainly like Goodwill stuff. Megan will tell you, when she met me, I was like Birkenstocks and like boot cut and like vintage like corduroy jackets.
Nothing wrong with the Birkenstock.
Yeah, no, I love them. So it's like, obviously it's evolved from there. Like, you have to, like, even just to buy something that would be considered fashion, I mean, you have to be, it's a little like upscale or whatever. So I started exploring that avenue, but I still think of it as like a style and self-expression thing. like, yeah, I'll watch some fashion documentaries because I'm into that. And like, I think of a designer as an artist of any kind of sort. And me being an athlete, I get inspiration. There's only so much inspiration I can get from, oh, rise and grind. I ran 3 miles. I woke up. I've been grinding for 10 years. So I always try to take things from people doing other things at high levels, whether it's a painter, a musician, a fashion artist, and just see their process, you know. And even when I'm going through camp, I look at every camp's album and what producer am I using? Which co-writers am I using to help me? And it's like, that's my album. Like, let's see how it hits when it comes out, you know. And I take all these things from directors, musicians, get the best, you know. Like, I hear quotes that you wouldn't hear in MMA besides just the normal fight talk. So, you know, I get into that. And like I said, I love individuality in the sport and self-expression. And basically the way I start Dapper Scrappers, to answer the question, sorry for the diatribe
No, that's
on,
perfect.
on everything, but so, you know, you go to a fight night and we have the Reebok deal, and we are just, it's so hard to be an individual in this sport. We're in a
Very
cage and
uniform.
we're bleeding, and it's just like, just bleed, just fight, like win, lose, you know, like that's it. Like, that's who we are. And we're in our tights, we're in our Reebok outfit or whatever. And I would realize I'd go to the fight nights, you know, the pay-per-view fight nights, and there's a ton of guest fighters, and you know, everybody picked that outfit specifically for that night to show, I'm going to show my peers that, like, I'm cool. And, you know, some were cool, some weren't, but everyone had their own style. And that's why I appreciated about it. And I was doing the same thing. I'm like, oh, I'm going to kill this on fight night. Like, I'm going to get this outfit off so good. And we all started hanging out in the like VIP room, and it'd be like 10 fighters. I'm like, why don't I document this and like take a picture of my peers and what they're wearing at night? Like, this should be some red carpet shit anyway. It's a giant UFC, you know, 250 or whatever. Like, so I started taking pictures of my peers, and I remember the first person I asked was maybe like Korean Superboy.
Oh wow.
And I was like, can I take a picture of you? And he looked fly. He was wearing McQueen sneakers and like this like electric blue knit sweater. And he just had great style. And he like grabbed me and he's like, yeah, picture. And I was like, no, just you, outfit. And then his translator told me, he's like, okay. He was all confused. And everyone thought I wanted to take a picture with them. But I was like, no, your outfit. I'm going to post it tomorrow, what you're wearing. And then I asked him what they're wearing. And the first post I did, it was on my own feed as a peer. I was just posting 10 pictures of men and as a fighter. But it did super good and like overperformed on my Instagram. And I was like, oh my God, I've never got this many likes or comments and whatever. And everyone's like, keep it going, keep it going. So I just grew it from there, made it into its own page. Obviously, it's kind of at a standstill with COVID, but I'm still trying to keep it updated when I see, you know, people posting their own style pictures. So it's come a long way. You know, fashion has come a long way in sports and stuff in general, and in our sport too. So I'm not going to say I started it or anything, but I know a lot of people dress for media day with Dapper Scrappers in mind. And I know that's my dog barking
Yeah, it's
because he
okay.
probably saw a bird or something. But I know people go to media day and fight night with Dapper Scrappers in mind because they tell me all the time, bro, I bought this outfit. Am I going to make it? I'm like, of course. And I put them on. So that's how it started. Dapper Scrappers. Give it a follow. If you see any MMA guys that, you know, are looking good on their own Instagram, tag me too so I can repost them at this time when we don't have live events. So
Of course, and I feel like a lot of fighters started dressing better after you started doing Dapper Scrappers, because a lot of them would just wear the Reebok outfit and things like that. Then all of a sudden, you started posting those pictures, and I noticed a big difference in their fighter outfit before a fight.
Yep. And at media day for sure, because if somebody was wearing Reebok at a media day, I wouldn't really take a picture of them because I'm like, you're wearing a UFC shirt. We all know we're in the UFC. This is for like people that are wearing something of their own. So you would see people would start going, oh, and they'd start changing it and be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna wear this. And then if someone was like, you didn't take a picture of me last time, I was like, but I wore this time, and I'd be like, excellent. So yeah, it was making a difference. It was cool. And like I said, it's just self-expression. Like, so hard to be an individual in this sport, and we're all only fighters for so long. So I'm all about the human element of it. My wife actually helps me with that a ton, you know, through her interviews and her looking at all the people, she talks to through a humanized way, and through their families, through their stories, through all that stuff. And I was just kind of the same way. And I get so happy when I see a fighter post about something that's like not training. And I'm just like, oh, that's great. He has another interest. Now, like, I know him without even knowing him, but by what he's wearing or what he's playing or what he's going to watch, or if he posts about a song. So I love that. And I was just like, I was doing a thing for a while on my own,
Yeah,
called Do I Look Cool? And I was just posting what I was wearing, but I was like, I feel weird. And
I
I'm just
remember
gonna,
that.
yeah. And I'm like, I feel weird about it. It's not really like my thing. I'd rather shift my focus to like my peers and like a wider audience that I can do. And it was way cooler, I think, getting everyone involved. So
Do you have any specific fighter you want to say you love their individuality of how they dress, and you have one coming up on your card is your Adesanya, who definitely likes to wear some different things. He just
dude,
posted for a magazine as well.
oh my God, that jeweled lapel on that tux, I think it was
Oh,
Dolce and
amazing!
Gabbana.
Yeah,
I took a screenshot of it. I was like, so I posted Izzy on the last two on one of my posts, because when he did the commentary, he had some really great pictures in his tux. And then I saw that one. I'm like, dude, I might have to just do him again, because like that was so good. And it was in a magazine, Ink magazine. All those pictures were great, but the one of him in the jeweled lapel, I might post
amazing.
that today as a reminder. Dude, it was incredible. I have it in my phone because I took a screenshot for the instant post. And I think it was just the size was a little weird for a real post, because I think it was in his story, but it was incredible. Tagged Dolce Gabbana in it. So actually, to answer your question, Izzy is actually one of my favorites, as Kamaru Usman as well.
Who's been love the Nigerian Nightmare
Max Holloway is excellent
with
as
the
well.
acronym. Always with the acronym. Gotta love
He
it.
knows what's up. Yeah, he knows what's up, and he's trendy. Like, knows his designers and everything. He was wearing Daniel Patrick, who's a great Australian designer,
Yes,
recently. And what I like about Max Holloway is he dresses, which I think is a big thing. He dresses like an athlete with style, because you can look good in a suit, and a jeweled suit, a patterned suit, like the stuff Kamaru and Stylebender wear. That's a different level of a suit. But it's kind of like, as fighters, I think it's important to also dress like, hey, like, I can fight right now. You know what I mean? Like, at a media day, like, I try to dress like it's different dressing for, hey, I can go to the gym and the store, or like, hey, I can look fly at this media day in a jumpsuit, but I can also fight if some shit pops off. So I never was like, oh, I'm gonna wear a suit to my media day, because like I'm staring down at the end of the day and it's like a fight time. So like, I think there's a fine line between looking like an athlete and looking stylish as well. Where if you wear a suit, you look stylish, but it's like there's not any athletic nature in it. So Max Holloway, I think, does the best job of taking that athletic look and mixing it with his style. As far as the women go, I think Joanna has incredible style.
yes, Joanna.
Um,
And it's changed throughout time as well, from when she
Yep.
first started to now.
No matter what she's doing as well, like, she can be wearing jean shorts and spaghetti strap and like longboarding, and she just looks fly with some details and some cool sneakers, or she gets like decked out. She has incredible style, and you can tell just when people kind of take it serious and put an effort. So those are the ones I think that stand out to me: Usman, Israel, Max, and Joanna.
And Max to me is just like I call him a dapper ninja, because it's kind of like a
Yeah,
ninja style almost, which is pretty cool. But here's
exactly.
a question for you: do you ever dress Megan? Does that happen
Oh,
sometimes? How Kanye used to dress Kim, and all of a sudden her style changed. Do you feel that you did the same thing with Megan?
I didn't change her style because Megan has incredible style,
Yeah,
and she gets called a style icon on her own without my
she
help.
is every single time she's
I,
on the broadcast.
oh, kills it, kills it. And she has her own style, and like, once again, she perfects the work style, like, but she also has such a good like basic style, like white t-shirt, jeans, and like 6 sneakers and a leather jacket. So, like I said, it's one thing being able to dress for every occasion, like, and that's what is impressive about Max, is like he dresses like he's about to fight this week. You know what I mean? And same thing with Megan. She knows how to dress for that, so she has amazing style. But I will say the secret. I'll give you guys in a secret. Every so we have a process, fashion show at lunch. It's called. Whenever she, the 2 days leading up to the fight, she says, "Okay, I have about 5 outfits I'm thinking of for this fight. Fashion show at lunch. Come home for lunch." She throws on the fashion show, fashion show, fashion show, fashion show at lunch. She comes out. It's from The Office, but she comes out, and typically I do help her narrow down her outfits, but she picks them obviously from the start. So I just help her narrow them down. So I will take a little credit for the things on TV, but she has incredible style. So I sometimes have behind it, oh, this piece of jewelry would be good. I have bought her quite a bit of clothes as well. We also share clothes a lot, especially hoodies.
Interesting. What would you guys share?
Mainly not dresses or anything
Yeah.
wild, but mainly like hoodies and jackets,
Nice.
Sherpas. I've actually realized the women's stuff, just as far as hoodies and like zip over pullovers, they just have like, I guess, more interesting like silhouettes and cuts as far as like a little bit more boxy. There's a little more like cropped, wider, just different cuts that I've realized in the athletic stuff, like the pullovers, some Sherpas, jackets mainly. We've always shared hats, and yeah, that's about the extent of it. Yeah, but yeah, so we share that stuff as far as that goes, and it's funny now because she'll come home and she'll be like, "I bought us a hoodie."
For me.
Like I bought us a cool jacket the other day, bro. I just bought the sickest leather shirt. It's a leather shirt.
Wow.
It's sick. Like it's a regular button-up leather shirt, but it's leather just for no reason. It's great. And I bought an Abercrombie women's.
Wow.
And
What color? What color is it?
It fits incredible. It's a black leather shirt.
Black leather shirt.
It's sick. I'm gonna send it to you on Instagram when we're done. It's incredible.
Absolutely.
But like that's the type of stuff where it's just like sometimes they just have cooler stuff, and it's like it's unisex at the end of the day. So anyway, that's that. And then sometimes when we go on date nights with me and Megan, she'll be like, you pick the restaurant, you're gonna pick my outfit too, and I'll be like, oh, let's see what we got here.
Can't wait to do it.
Yeah, and I get excited to pick that, and then so it's easy. I mean, she's beautiful. She already has, a stylish wardrobe, so I can go in there blindfolded and pick a good outfit, basically.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because in my past relationship, some girls would be like, "I'm going to the mall, but you don't have to come out." No, I want to go. Let's go shopping. Let's see some different outfits. I'll dress them like I love fashion. I think it's a very fun thing. But I pulled up a couple of photos to see what gave you this fashion inspiration for a couple of different outfits. Okay. So the first one I have here is, I don't know if you can see it on your end. Can you see it on your end?
Oh, is that you, bro?
With the it might be me, but it's you. I got this inspiration.
Is that you and Megan?
No, that's you. With the bolo tie. I know you're from. Of course, you're from Texas. But did that give you the inspiration to put on the bolo?
New Mexico. Well,
New Mexico.
I am from
You're
Texas,
born in San Antonio. Yeah.
Born in Texas.
Yeah.
From New Mexico.
Yeah.
I was raised in New Mexico. So funny enough, 100% hit it on the spot. That was a wedding for my friends Esther and Casey. Esther Lynn, all elbows, the photographer, and her husband Casey. Yes, so that was their wedding that actually took place in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And I was just like, once again, dressed for the occasion. If I was going to a wedding in Beverly Hills, I might dress a little sleeker. I might throw the air tie all the way up, something minimal, something cool. I was like, I'm going to New Mexico, like the rustic brown, the bolo with the turquoise, which is a New Mexico like famous rock in my bolo, dressed for the occasion, bro. And like that's, once again, I think that's what style is. It's kind of easy. Like I can wear a suit every day, or this every day, or this every day. It's like, well, we're going here, can you dress cool for that? We're going here, can you dress cool for that? And that's what's fun about it. Just like music. Sometimes I'm in this mood, sometimes in this mood, sometimes I'm chilling, sometimes I want to rock out, you know what I mean, and hurt my hand. So it's just like that's how it goes. So yeah, the New Mexico wedding was in the mountains was an inspiration for that.
Yeah, it reminded me of a very old school like Richie Valens kind of look, because you used to wear that as well. Here's one that I have. It's not too crazy, but I have something to say about it. This is a suit, but you're wearing it with a Mandarin collar shirt. Mandarin
Yes.
collar shirt. Not too many. Some people know about, of course. You introduced that to me as well.
Yeah,
I think you bought it from Zara. I don't know. Maybe that
I
one. Maybe
did.
not have it from Zara. Okay.
I did.
And so Daniel Cormier has this thing to where he doesn't wear ties, and he always has his shirt kind of open.
Yeah.
Would that be something you want to recommend to Daniel Cormier to wear on a broadcast?
Yeah, I think that would look cool. I mean, it it
And
gives
you
a
don't
little more
and you don't
minimal
usually
look.
wear ties too. That's another thing.
Excuse me?
You don't usually wear ties.
Yeah, I'm not a big tie guy, honestly. I'd rather get a very nice like wide collar and do an air tie, or like sometimes I throw a chain. As you see, I threw a bolo. Like I don't know. I have a I have like a problem with conforming to anything. So I'm just like, if someone's gonna wear like a suit and a tie, I need to like not. You know what I mean? So it's just like a weird thing. Like I'd rather wear a suit and a t-shirt or a suit and that. So same thing was that was kind of my inspiration is that. And that was a chill night. That was actually we got invited to do an episode of Hell's Kitchen,
Nice.
like that show that I don't know if it even ever came out or if it is, or I was even supposed to say that we're doing that. So who knows? Breaking news. but but yeah, that was just kind of the thing. It's like, well, I want to look nice, but like so I always want to wear a suit without wearing a tie. So that was just another shirt that gave me an interesting shape in the collar without being your normal, just like, hey, I'm lazy and I unbuttoned it. It was like made to not be buttoned to the top, that one at least. You know, I've done it with some band collar shirts as well, all the way up, and that looks pretty sleek, almost
Love
like a
that.
Pope,
Yeah.
maybe, but still looks pretty sleek. The band collars all the way up. But I'm a big fan usually of just like an air tie and then maybe kind of like a pseudo tie under, which, you know, even a chain works a lot of the times, but a bolo is great.
And these two right here, which was super impressive, and I think you have the biggest chance of doing design in your career after you're done with the UFC career. The design on the
Oh yeah.
Yeezys and the Vans, both of them, which
Yeah.
is two different completely designs. But what gave you inspiration for doing these designs? Because that's not just, I don't think you were just throwing paint at the shoe. It's pretty well designed.
Yeah. Um Honestly, I was a slave to the music on the Yeezys. I
Yeah.
threw on Yeezus and I just
Underrated
lost.
album. Underrated album.
Yeah. Oh, great. And I just lost my mind on it. And the inspiration was again what we kind of went back to is just so my wife bought me the pair of Yeezys
Yeah.
because she said like, oh, it was easy. I just like I thought it was like a hard thing to get, and it said shop now, and it had your size. So I was like, all right, that was easy. So she sent them to me, and she gave them to me, and she's like, look, I know you're not like the hype like style, and some other people might have the exact same pair. She's like, do whatever you want. Like I was just thinking of you, and it was so easy to buy. She's like, you should paint them though. I think that'd be cool. So she actually kind of gave me the idea. She told me, and I was like, I want to ruin something beautiful, like something pristine. So I was like, these are hard shoes to get, but it's like once again with the like I don't even know if non-conforming is a word. I don't have the best vocabulary.
Non-conforming. I think it's a word. I use it all the
But
time.
but it's just what is it, Ben? Yeah, but it's just kind of like I was like I need like that's beautiful, but I want it to be like messed up and beautiful in a way. So I was just like, these are great, clean white shoes that like I shouldn't even like hardly wear outside and get dirt on. So why not like throw a bunch of paint on them? Like I said, I put on some Yeezus, some Kanye music, and I just lost it. And it just came to me from there. And then the Vans, actually, after I did that, my coach, Bo Sandoval, who's the head of strength at PI, is like, I bought some plain white Vans because they were just cheap, but I was like, can you paint them for me? So I did that. And that one, you know, I took a little bit different. I took off the laces. I actually did like a tape job on that,
Yeah.
splattered the front, and then I hand painted the leopard spots on the back little panel. Just
Shows
because
what's
he's
going
a
on.
very like masculine, like weightlifting dude. So I was like, I'm gonna like mess him up with some leopard, you know, something a little like out of his element.
You'd be
But he's like,
afraid to
oh,
wear.
I love him, I love him. So those are hand painted leopard spots, and then I was like, oh shit, I should do a hand painted leopard spot all the way through a white shoe, like a Yeezy or something. I think it would look sick with just those leopard spots all over. So it got my brain whirling from there. haven't painted shoes in a while since, but was having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, and I got some white Vans, Joe. If I can ever send you some, or Joeseph Benavidez one of one, let me know. I'll send them
Yeah,
to you.
heck yeah.
But during this pandemic time, a lot of people have struggled to like do things, find activities. But you've been watching a lot of movies. If we go on your
Yeah.
Instagram, you do movie reviews, you give them ratings, a lot of different numbers, and you don't usually give a 10 too many times. I think one out of every reviews you do a 10 in there. You had Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. You gave that a 10. That
Yes.
is a movie that I had to watch maybe 6 or 7 times to like completely understand. It's a little hard of a watch,
Yeah.
but 10, that's huge. Why give that movie a 10?
Yeah, that was a 10. I just want to mention before I talk about it, I think on that actual month was one of my best months. I gave 4 10s.
4 10s. Yeah, that one did have the most tens. Yeah.
Eternal Sunshine, Punch Drunk Love,
Mm-hmm.
Midnight in Paris, and Roma. I gave all 10s on that one, and then some months I'll go with that one, and then back and forth. Eternal Sunshine, I just gave it a 10. I love originality. Like that is so much to me. Like I'll watch a biopic or like a true story, but like they don't do anything to me. Like I just got a bunch of grief on this last one because I gave like Aviator and Catch Me If You Can 7s.
Yeah.
And I was like, I thought they were great movies, well acted and great stories, but sometimes it's like, oh, true story. All right, like do something different. I just want my brain to whirl. You know what I mean? And Charlie Kaufman, who's the writer of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, is a incredible writer. Like he's probably the most original writer right now working. And so I just love his movies, the way they open my mind and stay with me. So all that stuff goes in. It's like, do I want to rewatch it? Does it have rewatching capabilities? Yes. Does it have does it stick in your mind? Did you enjoy it? Was it not just artistic and like you'll never watch it again? Like, did you enjoy it? Want to watch again? All that stuff came to mind. It's also romance, which I'm a big fan of love films, but doing it on once again, not just like straight to the like, hey, this is a love story. It was like kind of a messed up, love story, which are sometimes the best kinds. So I thought it just took something that is so general, like a rom-com and a love story, and to make something that unique with really a formula and a genre that is like been done a million times, and to go out and make it fresh like he did was just amazing. The thought that goes into it, the original screenplay. I think it won original screenplay that year at the Oscars too, because people just never seen nothing like that before. Same with his first movie, Being John Malkovich. Adaptation is another one he does. They're all like that. So just a special mind. Appreciate the originality. Obviously, the themes of love were there, which is like I'm gonna enjoy any movie like that. But to take those themes and jumble them all up and make them like what he did was amazing. So like one of my favorite movies, speaking, is like Lady Bird, and it's like there's nothing special about it, but it's a coming of age drama. Coming of age has been done a million times. A high school person coming of age, but like it still felt fresh to me, and like that's huge. It's like that's been done before, but not like that. So that's kind of how I felt about Eternal Sunshine.
So you and Megan give pretty in-depth reviews. You more than Megan. You guys give really in-depth reviews on your Instagram.
We have different taste, yeah.
Different taste for sure. I could definitely see that. But do you ever foresee yourself maybe auditioning for a movie? I see you do the sex tape thing, which if you want to explain that what that is, that's pretty cool. But I kind of understand it,
The sex tape, my cool highlight.
Yes.
Yeah, those I think of as short films, even though I don't think anybody else does. But like, I entertain myself. You know what I mean? And I just think it's funny. I would love to like be in a movie. I think that'd be cool. But like, if I was to do anything with the movie ever, I think it would be once again kind of like Dapper Scrappers, which would be a little more in the process of it. Some kind of set design or writing or something of that nature. I would love to act. I look at like a screenplay, like director type stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's a lot. Like to start with like no knowledge at age 36 and already having a full career. So like realist wise, I'm like, am I going to direct a movie? I don't know. Would I like to be involved in writing, producing, even shows? I mean, reality style shows having to do with MMA. Like I have a ton of production ideas, so the producing and stuff like that is ideas that I have. Not as much as being in front of the camera, even though I think it would be fun sometimes. As far as my sex tape highlight goes on my Instagram,
It's to be
that's
specific there.
that's the best acting I could. That's the acting I could do. Those all have meaning to them. Funny enough. So I just put the music to it. I mean, I don't want to go too in depth to it because people will be like, it's not serious. But I named it sex tape because it's like, I was like, I thought it was so funny and that like everybody should watch them. But I was like, at the same time, it was something that no one's gonna care about or watch. So then I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna name it sex tape. And then it's like, at the end of the day, it's like that'll draw the attention. But when they click on it, I have a laugh because it's like at the end of the day, this is the last thing anyone wants to watch, and they're probably gonna skip through it. But the name is maybe gonna go. They're gonna go what? And then at least I get. So I was laughing at myself when I made that name like all night. I was just like, oh, this is great, So
I find it. I love it, especially with the music and this is the zooming and then the expression as well. But
yeah.
if you were to choose somebody to play you in a biopic or Megan as well, any two actor and actresses you'd pick?
I would probably be Timothy Chalamet. Even though that probably doesn't go at all. But I just wanted to do it. Or like Shia LaBeouf could play me. I think that would
Kyle
be
Buff, yeah, that would work.
Shia LaBeouf would be sick to play me. And then you know who I think would play a really great Megan is probably like Rooney Mara.
Rooney Mara. I don't think I've heard of her before, but I
Rooney
definitely.
Mara, she was actually in Her. She's engaged to Joaquin
Oh,
Phoenix.
she's her. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about now. Yes.
She was
Wow.
Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Yes.
Incredible. She was she's been in quite a few. I think Side Effects, another one called Una. Yeah, she's super talented. Yeah, Carol, she was in with Kate Blanchett.
Yes.
She's amazing in that as well. But I think they have like a similar like vibe,
Yeah.
like even like bone structure and hair. I think that she would play a good Megan, but Megan would probably want like J Lo to play her. So
Does she agree? Is that
yeah,
a yes from
yeah,
her?
that was a ha ha ha. Yeah.
But the UFC filmed you guys after the fight with their series on ESPN Plus. It showed a lot of raw emotion. Are you okay with that being filmed?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm all right with stuff being filmed and documented. I mean, like that's what we signed up for. You know what I mean? Um, and that's what it is. Like, am I gonna like watch it and tell people, hey, everyone go watch me? And like one of the hardest, most disappointing times of my life? No, but like this is what I signed up for, and people need to know like that's what happens. This isn't a game. Like if someone loses, they feel shit like any other human. They don't just like, oh, you lost me money. You suck. You'll never, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's so much of that. Like, I think so. In a way, it is important to show that emotion. And if it can even help a few trolls or people out there just have a little more feeling and empathy for fighters, athletes, and people in general and what they do, like, then it does its job, and I think that's what the UFC is doing. So that's big for me. And even when I lose or something, it's just like I know the risks involved with this. Like this sucks, but it's like I know the risks involved with losing. Like I have the choice every day to chase greatness, and I know the risk of it not going my way, but at least I have the choice of doing that. Like I always think of people that don't have a choice, that are just born here, born there, born to this, born to that, diagnosed with this. It's like there's not even a choice. Like I lost a freaking fight and that crushed me, but it's like I made that choice to be like, it could be really good. Like I had every chance to make that the best night of my life, but I knew also the risk involved. So, if someone can take that from there and just know like, oh shoot, like, you know, that he hurts or they hurt and they feel and they put so much into this, like anybody else, then hopefully that helps someone just once again, what we're talking about pretty much the whole time is just look at everyone and have empathy and see a human side and an individual side to not only fighters but anybody. So obviously with that, with from the fighter perspective.
Yeah, and they highlighted the relationship you have with Megan during this mini documentary. And recently, Max Holloway has gotten into a new relationship. He's engaged now. Congrats to Max Holloway, of course. And a lot of fighters spoke about in the past how relationships could be distraction, having kids could be distractions, but you kind of use it more as a encouraging kind of thing. How did you translate that to make the difference?
I don't think it really took any like work or decision of like, oh, I'm gonna take this relationship and make it inspiring for me. Like my wife just inspires me every day. And I think that has a ton to do with her and the way she works her ass off and holds herself and treats people and supports me is like that inspires me and makes me better. Like when I see how much she's doing for me, just like, oh, make sure you're doing this. Here's this. Here's this. Here's your laundry. All at the same time while working her ass off to do everything she can. Like I'm gonna feel like a real asshole if like I take a round off at practice or like sit there and don't give my best. So yeah, it wasn't like I said, it wasn't really like, oh, I'm gonna get in, it was just it's a natural thing and it's a feeling. You know what I mean? It doesn't take anything. Like Max, I think sure anyone in the same position, like when like, oh, this helps me, this benefits me, this fulfills me. You know what I mean? It's not like obviously every relationship is work, but in a way, but like, oh, I want more of this. This makes me, fulfilled. This actually inspires me. Oh wow, this makes me work harder. This makes me a better person. You know, when you're in a relationship, and a good relationship, and that's how it is, that's just how you continue to thrive, and make each other better. So that's really how it is with Megan. So I'm lucky to have her. She like honestly inspires me every day and takes care of me like somebody that isn't who she is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, I like respect for every, housewife and person out there taking care of their guy, but it's like she takes care of me like she, even like she's not doing a forward facing job in the biggest reporter in the public eye on NFL and UFC. So that's what's crazy about it. On top of like a ton of other things, it's insane the stuff she does. So I'm always just like, dude, you're nuts. Like, and you cooked me dinner, and you did all this on these emails and this renovation and the rental properties, and like she has like so many hats. So it's just like once again like that's inspiring when I see her doing that. Like I was like, well, I better freaking be excellent too today. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna let her do that, and then I'm just like, hey, like, so it's a great time. I'm lucky.
And it's beautiful to see, and we love watching you guys grow. I feel like you're growing in front of us in a sense. Not that we know every single thing, but just from what we've seen, it's so awesome. And Joe, of course, thank you thank you for the time today. There's two more questions, and I have you out of here. I know you got probably busy day and more movies to watch, of course. But
Yeah.
from your earlier days, you had some couple of struggles growing up that you got past. If any kid is watching this right now who's maybe having some trouble with hard bringings, what can you tell them to overcome that? Like,
Um, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of hard. I feel so hard doing stuff like that because everyone's so different, and like what
yeah,
works for me. And yeah, like the thing is, I look at battles and stuff people have, but I just know like, all right, like people go through battles. So it comes from an empathy part of like, you can't let that define you. Like, oh, I went through something hard and it's like, now the rest of my life's going to be hard. Oh, my dad sucked. So like, I have to suck. Or like, I used to be this. So like, I'm always going to be that. Like, you just can't let things, um, I guess, define you. You got to persevere past them. And I always just think of a lot of other people. Like I always think, well, there's somebody out there that like went through a lot worse than me that's you know, doing better than me. Like people have gone through worse and do better than maybe you're going through, and that's going to always be the case, so like you always, I guess, have a decision to make. Like everything comes down to decisions, so you always really have the decision to make. And I mean, there's a difference. Obviously, there's addiction and mental illness and all that stuff. And I couldn't imagine being able to not make those decisions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because I do believe in that. Like, for instance, I'm 15 years drug and alcohol free, sober, and it's like I was able to make that choice. But I understand there's some people like that's sad when you can't. But you just got to try to make those choices and not let your past define you, which is just keep thriving. Don't let anything really define you. And I think that's a lot, because I think people get stuck in a rut of like, I should be this or I should be that, because that's all they're around. And it's just kind of I don't know, I guess you got to be your own person, not let that really define you. Like some people are like, I want to get out of this town, but it's like, all right, well, what's next? Like you got to continue thriving. I guess that's the best thing I could say is like, you can always like persevere, I guess, past anything, and other people have. So it's kind of just about never letting that affect your life. You know what I mean? So that's kind of that.
Absolutely, and you have a wonderful story. I feel, and I hope that one day a biopic comes out about you, because you have a lot to tell, and I think it's an amazing story, a legendary career. Thank you so much once again for the time. I appreciate it so much. This is a moment for me. I feel like it's almost like I made a moment right here, because I get to talk to such a legend as you. I hope you get that designing career going, movie career, everything, and have this idea for you. You can take it whichever way you want. Instagram, Benavidez Bites. It's got to happen.
What is it?
Benavidez Bites, because I know you love food. I know you love different kinds of foods. So on Instagram for food, I think it's a good idea.
Bro, that's the problem with my ideas is I have too many. You know what I mean? Like they're always there, and I gotta like, I gotta get them to fully blossom and just like come in, because they're right now it's a web of them. And I've had food, takes the same thing. I was gonna do last summer, the summer of sandwich, all the best sandwiches I ate all summer, stuff like that. No one take that. I trademarked it. Stop. But like stuff like that. Me and my wife go on date nights. You know what I mean? And I'm just gonna tell you guys now, breaking news on your show. Me and Megan O'Leary, who we've been talking about, and maybe people are interested in, I don't know, because they have been throwing like this at us for a while. We started a podcast, and there's 3 episodes out right now.
Where can we find this?
Benavidez at home, anywhere you listen to podcasts. I haven't even posted about it yet, so I will by the time I'm sure this goes on air. But yeah, so it's all about really the interest and stuff we talked about. So hopefully people enjoy the interview and more of that kind of stuff. And obviously we're going to talk about fights when they happen and big fights, but it's like we have a lot of other interests as well. And I thank you for highlighting them in this interview. Great interview. And like I felt like it flew by, even though it's been 53 minutes.
Yeah.
I felt like I was FaceTiming a friend, but you just took control of the conversation, which is great. And I love it. So yeah, but we started the podcast, and we talk about our date nights, where we go here in Vegas, what to eat here, what we're watching. What's the name of the podcast? Excuse me?
What's the name of the podcast?
Benavidez at home. At home with Benavidez.
At home with Benavidez. Perfect.
At home with Benavidez. So we do it in our garage, Benny, or in our office. Benny's in it. We just talk about stuff we do at home, which mostly everyone's doing right now. What the hell we're watching, where we went out to eat, what DMs we sent each other. We read through our DMs every episode. Because if you love someone, you're sending them DMs, even if they're in the same room as you throughout the day, to make them laugh. So what we, look at our DMs and just all the stuff that we would talk about from different perspectives of me and Megan. So we just started today, and we've had requests for a while about, oh, you guys should start a podcast. Even when I started doing the movie things, make this into a podcast. So maybe I branch off to that and make our like do 1 month episodes with my movie thing. But for now, it's been Alleviate Home. It's me and Megan, and really kind of, I guess, an intimate look into our lives and our interests outside of fighting. Because, as so much as the forward-facing jobs of Megan just slaying every day on TV and me beating dudes up. But it's a little more of an intimate look inside our home, at home with Ben Levy. That's the podcast. It's dropping today. You're the first person I've told.
Oh, breaking news on my show. I appreciate that. I'm going to listen to that.
Bro.
Literally, as soon as we're done with this, I want to listen to it. I'm very excited to hear that. Congrats on that. Every time you guys put out something, I'm like, wow, they can do so much with everything that they do. It's just incredible. You guys look like the most fun people ever, honestly.
Appreciate you, man.
But Joe, I appreciate the time again today. Hopefully I'll have you on again. Good luck with your fight, UFC 259. Anything you want to say to the fans before you go?
Dude, just love you guys. Thanks for the support over the years. You guys have been incredible. Thank you, man, for having me on my show. You're the great. Like I said, I just enjoyed the hell out of this conversation. Felt like I'm FaceTiming with a friend, and it's excellent. And yeah, thanks, guys. Fight. Listen to the podcast that we just dropped, which is going to be great, and enjoy that as well. And all love, man. All love. Treat people with kindness.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Joe. We'll have you on again. We'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate you, bro.
All right. That was Joeseph Benavidez. My God, that is one of the best conversations I've had with a fighter ever. I don't know if anything could ever top that. That was amazing. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching, everybody that stayed. I know it was an hour long, but it was such amazing conversation put together there. We'll be back tonight, 8:30, Jimmy Rivera. But for now, Mystic Black, Darnell Giovanni out on the MMA Island. Check this out on the podcast. Boom!